Okay, hi, good morning. Basically, I'm going to be really busy for the coming week when Sizzle season first drops, so I want to put out some form of video before I get really busy with that, so I'm recording this the night before I get super duper busy, so this is basically going to be an off-the-cuff, basically, completely unscripted if it's not obvious by now. Me talking about the weapons coming up in the next season, basically, and giving first thoughts and impressions, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to kind of keep it short and sweet, given that there's like 10, 11 weapons, something like that. I'm going to play this in the background in case you're curious what that is. Hopefully the audio level's good. So first of all, I want to talk about S-Blast 92, which is like a new blaster class weapon. Basically what we saw from this is that if you jump with it, you get sort of like normal blaster, you become like a two-shot. I don't know what happens if you direct, we need to know like more about the stats, but basically it looked like a two-shot if you start jumping with it and it's shorter range, but if you stand still with it, it's more like rapid range and has the potential to one-shot as we saw in the trailer. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to look into the whole thing because, again, we're kind of keep this a bit quick. But yeah, this one seems neat. In terms of kit, Sprinkler Reslider. I think Reslider actually has pretty good synergy with it. Sprinkler's a bit underwhelming as usual. I think it's the worst sub in the game. But I mean, yeah, that's what it is. I think it's interesting, and I'm actually kind of curious how this will play out. So do I think it'll be really good? I don't know. Can't tell any parameters and stuff, but it'll be fun. That's for sure. So that's good. Fun is good. Paintbrush, second weapon. Forgot to full screen this, not that it makes like a huge deal in this case, but you know, just for sake of being nice. Paintbrush seems interesting. I kind of like the kit. People were talking about how like, oh, curling's redundant on an ink brush, but what I want to know is if this is a heavyweight weapon, because clearly it's clunkier than Octobrush. Its roll speed looks the same as Octobrush at a glance for sure. Weighbreaker is neat, the range is neat. It seemed like a 3-shot in the video, which is cool. The one thing I kind of hope it has is no fallout damage. If it had that, that'd be really cool to me. And, you know, theoretically this is a heavyweight. It doesn't scream heavyweight weapon to me, it just screams medium weight with like worse frame data, kind of the way that Stamper is, but if we're using heavyweight as a precedent, then Explosion and Tenebral are both weapons with no fall-offs. I think that this could be neat in that regard as well, because then you can kind of hold cool positions and sort of just consistently ship people, which is neat. I would like that. And curling Weighbreaker, kind of getting like lost in thoughts because I'm trying to like speed through it, but curling's actually kind of neat because since you only have Octobrush roll speed, it's actually not nearly as good as disengaging as something like Carpenter Inkbrush would be, so curling's really cool for mobility. And if it's a clunkier weapon, then having a curling's actually kind of neat because we never really tend to get curling on like, you know, the low, slower weapons. Like I think like curling, Rush, Tent, and Splatoon 2 is like the only one that comes off the top of my head. So that's neat. H3D. The long-awaited. Basically, it's a reimagining, that's the word I want to use, of Cherry H3 and Splatoon 1. If you didn't play that game, basically it had Splash Wall and Big Bubble, or not Big Bubble, Bubbler. The Bubbler was fully invincible in Splatoon 1 by the end game because of 96 Deco getting nerfed very, very, very hard, and Cherry getting buffed by virtue of the light depletion system. Cherry kind of ascended to the top tiers of that game, despite being kind of a clunky main weapon. Conversely here, in this game, I don't think Wall is nearly as strong, for sure, through the existence of something like Object Shredder, amongst other factors, map design being less hallways, still kind of is, but not completely, and Big Bubble being a little bit underwhelming IMO. That and just, you know, H3 main weapon flaws, as usual, kind of clunky frame data, a little bit abusable, all that stuff. I look at this thing's kit and I kind of say like, wow, you kind of get completely rolled by stuff like Trip Strike and Hammer, but that's life, it's neat. Do I think it'll be good? Probably not, honestly, but it's a reference, so haha funny. Speaking of references, we have the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, that's a mouthful. It has Killer Wow, and you might be being like, oh, it didn't have that, or it didn't have Ray in Splatoon 2. Again, it's a Splatoon 1 reference. There was a Rapid Blaster Pro with Disruptor's plus Whale, if not mistaken, in that game. So this one has the Whale, although instead of Disruptor, we have Line Marker, which is not a great sub, but it's kind of funny. Actually, I think it could be kind of neat. Not good necessarily on this weapon, but, you know, in terms of painting its feet for a cheap cost, which is something Blaster historically struggles with, they're painting walls. It's actually kind of neat in that regard. What I do like is if you wail, when you wail, people tend to want to run in one direction. So what you can do with this weapon is you can kind of like wail and combine that with your main weapon's long range and AoE to poke people out of corners, and you can like throw a line marker to like be like a tripwire to sort of like censor them or mark them or, you know, hit them if you're really, really proficient with it. So that's cool, and you technically do combo if you like direct somebody and then they're like directly on top of you and you don't trust yourself to get the spark. You know, line markers there, I guess, so that's neat. There's an idea behind the kit. I don't know how good it'll be necessarily, but if you're really proficient with the combos and understanding how to like flush people, I think it's actually pretty neat, this weapon, so that's actually kind of cool. No idea how good it'll be, but I think it's fun. Tetra and Zipcaster, which is something people wanted for like forever, since like day one basically. Zipcaster's fantastic. It's like a distraction special, and the way that dualies work is they have that property where you can sort of like roll midair, and if you ever played dueling on Moray Tower in like Splatoon 2, you know what I'm talking about already. Basically, there's like a fall speed in this game, and it's like static for like everything basically, but duelie kind of cheats that if you roll midair with like any of them. You fall way faster than like normal. So with Zipcaster, you can like zip to like high parts of the map, which are like the harder angles to contest for a lot of weapons because you're out of their range, blah 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 blah. You can sort of, you know, like sit there, like jump off and then like dodge roll down to like, you know, immediately be on top of them, that kind of thing. You'll see when this weapon comes out, if you mess with it for like a minute, you'll immediately know what I'm talking about. I think that's neat. Again, kind of gimped my sprinkler. That aspect is kind of bad, but I think in terms of like solo queue, this thing is gonna be like kind of demonic, because I could definitely foresee like with the QR Tetra just harassing your E-leaders and blah blah blah. Just, you know, it just screams solo queue demon to me, so that's kind of funny. Tatabarrel is interesting. Zuka's really weird on this. It feels like you get like 3 hammer throws, but it's more like an arcing projectile, but I mean, it's kind of neat. It's sort of trying to replicate Camo 10 because it does have Ink Mine. Ink Mine's fantastic on this. Combos with the main, helps bait people, really good on spot zones, all that kind of thing. 10 as a main weapon still needs some buffs IMO, such as reverting some of the nerfs, like, you know, the ink efficiency one would be nice, you know, giving it a bit more HP because it feels really flimsy in this game, because it gets like one touch by like pretty much every special in the game, and you like Stamper and Splatano kind of just like murk it. Like, there's a lot of problems with the weapon, but you know, this one seems neat. I think, you know, down the line, if there's like balances made to the main weapon, it could see more play, though it has potential. I don't think in current meta, because current meta is just like Jetpack, the video game, and the tent hates that, so that's tough. But you know, it seems really cool. That's fun. I'll go back. Oh no, okay, I'm just in full screen. I forgot. I'll just do like this. Drop back down. Blah, 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 blah. We're already at 7 minutes. I'm not doing a good job of talking quickly. At least there's a lot of stuff to talk about, actually. Nova's kind of cool. I like the kit. It has Ink Mine. I like the design on this for sure. I like Ink Mine plus Inkjet's the blue Gluga kit from Splatoon 2, except this weapon actually has straight speed and can paint. And all that fun stuff, so that's actually kind of cool. I think this could be neat on like some zones maps for sure, because the combination of Ink Mine plus Inkjet and like current meta is actually like quite potent. Also, I think it's the thing where Nova can struggle a bit to kill, so having the combination of Ink Mine and like, you know, Inkjet eventually like finish off kills and stuff like that, that's pretty cool. In terms of defending itself on landing outside of Ink Mine on the actual jump marker or close to itself, it's kind of bad because you're a 5-shot in a shooter and like really inaccurate in the air, so it's kind of tough. I don't think you're gonna like do like the T-Tech thing or Emperor thing where it's like, oh, I trade the guy on my landing. Like, that's not really gonna happen unless they trip a mine or they're like super duper weak or something like that, so that's a struggle that this weapon's gonna have. But you know, Nova's kill time is like one of its, you know, problems as a trade-off for like the painting and the range and the strafe and the blah blah blah, so you know, it's fair. What tweet did they delete? That's weird. Maybe they just like made a mistake on their post. I'm not gonna click on the tweets because I don't want to like scroll up every time and on full screen and blah blah blah. Splatoon. Yeah, dude, trying to record a video like this when you're trying to like speak somewhat fast because you're like A, limited on time, B, you know you're not gonna edit. It's really crazy. I think my mind is racing with a million things, but I do want to make a video, so you know, if you're listening, I appreciate it. Wiper Deco is definitely the talk of the town, you know, like the #1 weapon in terms of like people discussing it. You can immediately see the last 2 words of the tweet would immediately scream why. But yeah, Wiper Deco has Squid Beacon, or Beacon, you know, as everyone calls it in missiles. That's really cool. It's the Neos Bush kit from Splatoon 2. Revisited with like an actual main weapon this time. Missile is strong. I don't think you need an introduction on that if you played like any of Splatoon 2 or even a bit of Splatoon 3. Beacon's really cool for it, because I was talking about this in a VC with people because I've been playing Wiper in scrims lately, but basically Wiper's really good at ratting and annoying the opponent because it has really good frame data on horizontals and such, and it's a lightweight and ink efficient, paints clean lines, all of that. So I feel like there's like a lot of potential with this weapon to like kind of flank around, right? But not even necessarily commit, just like force the opponent to turn around, make them burn some resource or like time for you, and then you can like jump back to your beacon and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Beacons help you jump in if you're like playing QR, which like most wipers are. You can like go for these kinds of crazy plays and jump back in faster, so that's really nice. Missiles always good. I don't need to explain that, I feel. So yeah, the Wiper deck was interesting. The trade-off is that as opposed to V-Wiper, the loss of Torpedo and Hammer makes you significantly worse at fighting. Like, Wiper's kill time on purely horizontals is very, very slow. It's like basically a full second. So I think if you play this weapon, you're going to need to be like really proficient in terms of like your main weapon prowess. Otherwise, you're going to be struggling to get kills. And like, yeah, getting missiles and like having beacons is cool, but like, no, I think like the really good Wipers are the ones who are going to be able to like get kills. You know, like do this stuff like, oh, it's a jetpack, I'm just going to two-shot it with verticals, like in 2 shots, like stuff like that. Like, if you're good with that on Viper deck, when you have like good missile timing, some like good beacon placements and jump ins and jump outs and all of that, this weapon's going to be fantastic. I'm going to be playing this a lot on stream. Look out for that, given that I got regular Viper to like borderline 2900. I might have been able to do it, honestly, if I had more time this season. Maybe we'll go for like 3000 or something with Viper Deco. Would be fun. But yeah, that's like number 1. I'm super excited about that. Easily. Last 3 weapons we're going to talk about in this video is Big Swig, Roller Express, fantastic name by the way. It has Inkstorm, good special for paint, nice in zones, can't spam it though, that's the thing with Big Swig. If I got a special it could spam, that'd be kind of dummy, so I'm glad it got Rain, something with a cooldown, but still very good for it, and helps it combo. And Control Space, Ankle Shooter's funny, it can potentially combo off of horizontals and verticals. Again, it's kind of a gimmick sub. It can do the things I talked about with Rapid Pro, where Roller's not great at painting its feet or painting walls necessarily without committing to verticals and all that, so I mean, it's cool in that regard, but yeah, this is going to struggle a lot out of spawn on disadvantage, but a lot of weapons struggle with that, but you know, it'll be fun. I'll definitely mess with it on stream, because Big Swig is a very, very funny weapon, but its kit right now is like one of the worst in the game, so, you know, upgrading that to Inkstorm and like Limework is at least a funny sub-weapon, you know, I like it. Design's really cool. I like the plastic cup and the mix of like the orange with the yellow and the blue. It looks very, very nice. Heavy Deco is referencing the Splatoon 1 kit once again. They love doing this. Point Sensor plus Kraken. I do think it'll be neat. I don't think it'll be top tier necessarily, because I don't think Kraken is in the strongest state right now. But I think Heavy is a very respectable main weapon, that this kit has like enough going for it that you have to like, you know, respect it at least. It may not be a common pick necessarily, but I think it'll do work every now and again on like super specific maps if you're not like ready to deal with this kind of like playstyle. And I do think having the Kraken can potentially enable the Heavy to do more aggressive positioning, because like, you know, they do the thing, they move up, they're behind a wall, they charge, they peek. If it doesn't go well for them, they can like go back behind the corner again against some weapons, you know, not machine obviously, and pop with the Kraken and kind of keep themselves alive, potentially do some cheeky stuff. My concern with Kraken is like you're going to be having to like spend the last bit of it disengaging a lot of the time, because Heavy has a charge time on top of the cooldown from Kraken, so that's a little bit concerning, but I do think it'll be a fun kit, and you can finally play Kraken without having to, you know, resort to Crack on Roller or 96, which I'm not super huge on, so this will be a good addition for fun factor of the game. Since we only had 2 Kraken weapons, and this bumps us up to 3. Speaking of 2 weapons getting bumped up to 3, we have Squirrel II, which has Squid Beacon and Super Chump. It had Beacon in Splatoon 1. I've been clamoring that I think Beacon could be really cool in Squirrel II. Unfortunately, I don't see this weapon doing much of anything right now. We don't have patch notes yet. Keep in mind, as I'm recording and like doing all this, for all I know, the patch notes could drop on like Monday or something, and be like, there could be like Giga Super Chump off. So keep in mind, I don't know the patch notes as of the time of recording this, but in current patch, before Sizzle season drops, Super Jump is really underwhelming. I think it needs to do a mix of things, you know, just have faster activation time, or have like more damage on it, more paint potentially, maybe having them scatter a bit closer together, so that forces you to like deal with them more than the current state of just like break 2 to 3 or out to your immediate area and you're pretty much fine. That's not going to do anything. Because right now it feels like very underwhelming, but I think it's the kind of special where if it's like overtuned, it's really obnoxious, so I understand that, but I do think it needs a buff. If Squelchy gets a main weapon buff this season, that's super cool too, but, you know, for now, this seems like a for funsy if you're trying to, like, this is like the for funsy kit on Squelchy right now, if, like, if you're trying to win with, like, a top tier with, like, a similar kit, you go this one. So yeah, I'm going to be playing a ton of Viper Deco. But yeah, that's pretty much my initial, like, thoughts and impressions. If we want to, like, go through it again, like, what do I think will be, like, meta relevant? Can't say I need weapon parameters, can't say Neat maybe on some maps. No. Future meta maybe. Solo Q monster. Uh, niche. Niche pick, like something like zones maybe. You can also spam it just because this weapon paints really, really well, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so again, like niche. Definitely whenever the patch, but you need to be good with the main weapon if you're good with that and missile and like again with the things I talked about before. Godlike. Not like top 5 necessarily because again it's like kind of bad at fighting, so you need to like it's like the Neo Splash thing where it's like it offers a lot to the theme and it's good, but like its fighting proficiency compared to the other variation is significantly weaker, so that's like the trade-off. But yeah, it's definitely like the winner of the patch, before patch notes it's like going and I'm looking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the best one. But it's like fun. It's fun, not even good, like it's just fun. Heavy Deco neat, kind of niche. This weapon underwhelming unless Chump gets something. But yeah, the season looks fun. Let me know what you think. Let me know what weapon you're looking forward to playing, and yeah. I said I would keep this short, and it's at like 16 minutes, so last thing before I go. Subscribe if you haven't, I'm keen. We'll do more of this. Yeah, anyways, that's my video. Hope you have a good day. I shall see you. I don't know why Sonic Adventure is trending. Sure, anyways, see you.